This is the Fifth Estate Winning Headlines, your media police post. In this segment, we summarize some of the headlines that you may have missed this morning. But we also take a look at the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country. Today is the 24th of May 2022 and I am 2J.
I'm 2M.
And I am JM. In case you missed the headlines this morning, here they are in the Daily Nation. Raila unveils campaign's dream team. In the Standard, Kalonzo camp seeks super deal in Azimio. In the Star, why results transmission may fail again. And in the People Daily, work with Raila, Kalonzo told. Kalonzo is indeed back.
Yes.
But this mixed signaling should not take us by surprise, dear Kenyans. It appears customary amongst Kamba leaders during such decisive moments in our politics.
Yeah.
Do recall, let me take you down history lane. Do recall that in November 1962, Paul Ngei was the first to be bitten by the selfishness bug. When in November 1962, he abandoned KANU to form the African People's Party. Why? Because like Kalonzo, he felt underappreciated, undervalued. He complained that he wasn't allowed to attend the Lancaster House conference and that the Kamba leadership declined to vacate a seat for him as they had done for Kenyatta.
Yeah.
So a disgruntled Ngei, like Kalonzo, seized the opportunity to hold the balance of power between KANU and KADU. But no sooner had the independence elections been held that Ngei disbanded the APP and moved back again into KANU. John Mitruki was so fed up in 2010 and he publicly commented on his exasperation with Kamba leaders. He called out Charity Ngilu on blowing hot and cold regarding the 2010 Katiba.
Yes.
Watch that clip there.
Yes.
Na hii kazi ya kurukaruka. Kama mtu anacheza ile dansi ya Wakamba ile inaitwa nini? Waadhi wa Mukamba. Kurukaruka miguu na ruka huko na kuruka kule.
So 60 years later, same story, different characters. What's the lesson here? Kamba leadership need to be pampered and treated with a lot of tender love and care. If not, they will become spoilers. But it's not a bad model of doing politics.
Right.
Scarcity, as you know, raises value, it raises price.
Absolutely.
And it is when something is denied to us that we really want it. Kalonzo, we have not wanted you more than we have wanted you these past 2 weeks. And here's a short story about what we call the scarcity heuristic.
Yes.
In the year 1503, a Florentine artist took on a commission for a local businessman by the name Francesco del Giocondo.
Yes.
It was a painting of his wife and it wasn't considered anything special. 300 years later, in the year 1797 rather, this painting ended up on the wall between much larger paintings in the Louvre in Paris.
Yes.
The public barely noticed it until 114 years later, on the 21st of August 1911, when it went missing. How did it go missing? On that day, Vincenzo Perugia visited the Louvre in Paris and hid himself in a broom closet. When the museum closed for the day, he snuck out and took the small painting off the wall. It fitted under his coat, so he took it and calmly walked out of the building. The next day, someone remembered that there used to be a small picture in the gap between those two larger paintings. At first, they thought it had been removed for cleaning. Eventually, they found it hadn't, and they realized this was actually theft.
Yes.
But then what perplexed them was that the thief ignored all the other masterpieces and targeted just this one painting.
Right.
So they figured that it must be worth more than any other painting in the museum. The newspapers got hold of the story and everyone wanted to know what this masterpiece was that had been targeted above all the others. The Louvre checked and told them it was known as the Mona Lisa. The public didn't remember it, but it was obviously the most valuable painting in the Louvre. Suddenly now, everyone wanted to see the Mona Lisa. But no one could see it because it wasn't there, which then made them want to see it even more. Ladies and gentlemen, that is how the Mona Lisa then became the most famous painting in the world. Overnight, it was as if the Louvre was only half the museum without this Mona Lisa. Eventually, after 2 years, it was recovered when the thief tried to sell it to a gallery somewhere in Florence. Today, 6 million people visit the Louvre just to see the Mona Lisa, and that is what we call the scarcity heuristic.
Yes.
That people never want something so much as when they cannot have it. Kalonzo Wetu, we have never wanted you so much as we have wanted you in the last 2 weeks.
Oh my
You know what, JM? I love it. Economics is actually called the dismal science. Scarcity creates value.
I know. But surprisingly, if you go see the Mona Lisa, it's not all that fantastic. There's nothing very special about it.
Nothing.
So now that Kalonzo has come to his senses and returned to Azimio, we're beginning to get some clarity on what the 2022 tyranny of numbers may look like.
Right.
But that does not mean that the election will be easy. And that's why I want to bring to country's attention the headline from the Saturday Nation from May 14th entitled, Why Uhuru Could Be in Office Until May 2023. And on this, the Nation is right. According to the Constitution, it is both possible and probable that Uhuru Kenyatta could be incumbent for an additional 10 months after we go to the polls, taking us to May 2023. In short, August 9th isn't the end of the election. August 9th is the beginning of the election, and Kenyans do not understand what is coming.
Oh, yeah.
The article itself outlines several of the scenarios that could take us to 2023.
Right.
And these scenarios are not new. Here we're talking about nullifications, fresh elections, and the high possibility of a runoff.
Yeah.
If the 2017 nullification gave us 123 days of economic hardship and uncertainty, a prolonged 2022 election could give us close to 300 days of chaos, making 2017 look like a Sunday school picnic. If this is the case, then we must understand how the days following August 9th will unfold. So in our view, Election Day will begin like any other. And by the time Kenyans go to bed at midnight on the 9th, both candidates will be at a stalemate. By morning, there will be no clear winner and all the press conferences will begin.
Right.
But what we must be alert to is that this election will not be won at the ballot. It will be won in the courtroom.
That's right.
In 2017, the Maraga ruling gave every political aspirant the perfect cookbook to misengineer an election.
Oh, absolutely.
And the contents of this cookbook came down to just one thing, process.
Yes.
And we foresee that once again, this thing called process will be used to undermine and interfere with the success of the election. In fact, in our view, this election will be determined by just 7 votes. Those from the sitting members of the Supreme Court of Kenya. It is a fact that someone will file a petition during this election cycle. It's merely a matter of when. And when this happens, the Supreme Court will reveal itself as the real voter register. This simply means that whether we have a 100-day or a 300-day electoral period is in the hands of our highest court. And we could be wrong. But the judiciary's track record tells us that they are rogue and they do not have country's best interests in mind. MLK Jr. once said that law and order exist for the purpose of establishing justice. And when they fail in this purpose, they become the dangerously structured dams that block the flows of social progress. Our judiciary has failed us before, and they will fail us again. Kenyans, you stand guided on who is going to steal this election from you.
Yes.
Tujay, you know, you just got me thinking. If we could lose 1 trillion shillings in 123 days, what is 10 months? We are saying
that's almost triple the time.
It's triple the time. We could lose half our GDP as we're just watching.
Exactly. All because of a stupid election.
Because of a stupid election.
Ain't gonna happen.
God forbid. Today, we want to tell William Ruto that he has entered the path of diminished marginal returns. The law of diminishing marginal returns is a theory in economics that predicts that after some optimum level of capacity is reached, adding an additional factor of production will actually result in lower output. Put differently, there can only be a specific number of variables that suit your ability to achieve 100% output. Any additional variable to the initial set of variables is likely to compromise your optimality. And this is exactly what has happened to Ruto. What's our point here? Before Ruto chose Rigathi as running mate, he was operating at 100% optimality. His UDA pistons were pumping at full capacity. But when he added a variable called Rigathi, he spooked country. When he added a variable just like himself, he compromised his output. And for as long as this variable called Rigathi is in place, his output will fall below, way below 100%. And herein is what we would like to remind Ruto. He requires 90% of Kikuyus to win in August. Anything less, he will fail bigly. And we will not tire of reminding you that since 2007, Raila Odinga has scored 44% of the total national vote.
That's right.
Regardless of the strength of his coalition, since 2007, Baba has had 44% of the country. It did not matter whether he ran with Kalonzo, Musalia, Ruto and Wetangula in 2007, he ran with Ruto and Musalia, and without Kalonzo, he got 44%. In 2013, he ran with Kalonzo, but without Musalia and Ruto, he got 44%. In 2017, he ran with Kalonzo, Musalia, and Wetangula, he got 44%. And on the basis of this trend and on science, Raila still has his 44% intact. All Baba requires is 6%. And that 6% is equivalent to just 900,000 Kikuyus. Just 900,000 Kikuyus will be enough. Kikuyus are equivalent to the 6% required to get Baba to State House. Question is, do you think Uhuru and Martha Karua are incapable of getting Baba 900,000 votes? Raila will win the August election round 1.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, we've got 4 contenders for a headline: topical or speculative, repetitive or groundbreaking, and thoughtful or just plain lazy. 2M, you had an inclination towards the Star.
I like the Star. Why results transmission will fail again? And it goes back to what Tuji said. Anyone who read, and Maraga gave us the cookbook of how to engineer the election. This will happen. This will happen.
If somebody's paying attention and they've gone through that ruling that they gave in 2017, it tells you exactly what you need to do to create a nullification process again.
Absolutely.
And I think the other part that they mentioned is that around 1,100 polling stations are not connected to 3G connectivity, which may seem like a drop in the ocean, but I think the point is, where are these 1,100 polling stations?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So something to, I think, note there as we progress with the election. We won't go through the cartoons today, but we had one that we quite liked, and we'll display it over there. This one of a standard. Do you think that should give us our winning cartoon?
Absolutely.
I agree.
It's a return of the Moi state.
Absolutely. So
God forbid.
The Star then gives us our winning headline, and the Standard gives us our winning cartoon. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're also on your TV screens, paying free to air, Go TV and Star Times. You can find me on TikTok at Maina Wakangema.
You can find me right here on this table.
Find me on Twitter, K Maina, and TikTok, Kanda Bongo.
Have a good evening.